Juwan, how does it feel to get a win on your birthday?
Feels great. It was a very nice gift that the fellas said after the game in the locker room. They basically said, hey, this is the birthday gift for you. And it's nice to know that our guys with a smile on their face, get a chance to sleep on their pillow, and hopefully the food tastes a lot better tonight than it did, some other nights. And at the same time, be able to wake up with a smile on their face, because it's been a grind, but we will continue to grind.
Over on your left with Tom.
Yeah, Juwan, Doug's usually playing like 30-some minutes, and he had 24 tonight, and there was a critical time about the 10-minute mark down the last couple of minutes. He was out. What was the reason behind it? Obviously, it ended up being a good decision, but can you take us through that?
I appreciate that. Thank you. I heard that good decision part. But it was based on, we had a great group that was doing some good things out there on the floor, where they were getting defensive stops when needed, and at the same time getting good offensive opportunities on the other end. And Jalen, Namari, Trey Jackson, Terrence Reed, as well as Will Tschetter. That was a really good group that I could not break up. And at the same time, they made a good run. I think they had us up by 9, and then Wisconsin made a run. And then I felt like at the time of like 3-minute mark, maybe like almost 3-minute mark, it was time to put Doug in, and ran the ATO for him, and he came in and scored.
Go ahead, Connor.
When we were here after Rutgers, we talked about the doubt that maybe creeps in when there's a run.
So, can you louder?
After the Rutgers game, you talked about the doubt that creeps in when your team suffers a run. Why didn't that happen this time around?
Great question. Every question you ask is a great question. And, it's more about the mental stability part. And I have to commend our guys for, being so competitive and caring, and which they should. At times you will have, emotions that goes throughout the game, because basketball is a very emotional game. And when teams make runs, there are times when trust is lost. There are times when doubt, creeps in. But, we've talked about this over and over, whether it's in practice and film sessions, showed on film. But tonight, it's a different story. And it's great that our guys responded when we needed to.
Do you think it just clicked?
It was great when our guys responded when we needed to.
Steve?
Hey, Juwan. Will Tschetter gave you some big points when you needed them, but he also seemed to be pulling teammates aside and saying some things and showing some leadership. Talk about what he gave you tonight.
Well, Will is, he's a culture guy, and every coach would love to have an opportunity to coach a guy like Will Tschetter. And, when I recruited him, just knowing his makeup and his background, I said, this is a Michigan man who, I told you guys for years that this is going to be a guy that's going to be a captain of our team. And, he received a lot of votes because the guys respect him and they know where his heart is. And, because you're not voted a captain, Will has always showed leadership because he's wired to do it and do it the right way for the team. And, it was nice that he hold guys accountable, guys hold him accountable. He receives information and don't take it to heart. He doesn't take it personal. He's a guy that, at the same time, with all the hard work that he does and doing all those small things that result to winning, he's a guy that, we're going to see when it's time, senior year, it's senior day, we're going to always, remember that Will Tschetter. He will always be remembered here at this program. But while he's here right now, we appreciate his work.
And to talk about his offensive spurt as well.
Yeah, that 3 that rolled in and rolled around the rim, that was a big 3. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Juwan. Just to start the second half, I think Wisconsin made 5 straight buckets. They were all layups, all at the rim. Then you called the timeout, and they weren't getting to the rim as well after that, I guess. How pleased were you with whatever switched from there, and what sort of adjustment did you make to stop that?
Well, basically, it's accountability, and then adjustments that are made. Our guys were able to execute it, and at the same time, we took ownership of it. And it was nice to know that there was no emotions, where it was finger pointing. It took ownership of like, let's fix it. And with that run, it was nice to see, like in the second half, to finish the ball game. He shot 2 for 11 from 3, and that's one of the areas of where Wisconsin do a really good job of is making shots on the outside, which starts with Max and Connor.
Clayton?
You mentioned the one ATO to Doug, but there were two more in the second half that also led to buckets. And then the last one, were you able to get the ball into Doug after Terrence had trouble the first time? Let's talk about what you liked about what you drew up and then the execution too.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Just wanted to get him in an area where he was alone with his athletic ability, speed. It's important that Doug have space to be able to get that ball received to him where it doesn't cause a turnover.
And then just the other two as well, just how big those were to come out of those timeouts.
Well, it just shows Doug, being on the bench. It's easy for your thoughts in your head can go in different directions where it doesn't lead to the team. And he's always been a guy that's been out there on the floor, but at the same time he was feeding life to his teammates as that run was happening and that group was doing well. And to be ready when your name is called on is hard, but he showed up when we needed him to, and to be able to finish the game and to finish the game with Doug is beautiful.
We'll have one more. Andrew, you want to close this out?
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You talked about the smiling faces after the game. I guess, can you speak to how much of just the weight off their shoulders and how important this was to be happy after a game?
Well, as a coach that cares about his players so much, and I would never stop caring about my guys, it hurts my heart to walk in the locker room and see faces where you see guys with their head down, you see guys with their eyes red, and your team is just pouring it out there, and to have some possessions that doesn't go your way, whether it's because of you're responsible for it, or a teammate may have not done his job, but at the same time, as a team, you win together, you lose together. But I have, always, felt their pain even more because, I'm human too, and I'm very competitive, and I want to win every ball game, but realistically, it doesn't always happen that way unless you're the Michigan football team. So, got to put that plug in there, national champions. But at the same time now, it hurts my heart, just to see those sad faces. And tonight, it was just nice to see, guys with a smile on their face, noise in the locker room, in a positive way, with noise in the locker room instead of in a negative way.
And then I didn't see Jace on the bench. Is he okay, or was
Yes, Jace is sick, and hopefully it'll take some time for him to recover, but he'll be back soon. Yes.
Thank you very much, Coach.